Yo, what is up YouTube? Back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers at Tennessee Titans Week 4 matchup. Both of these teams are 3-0. The Steelers with an easy schedule, but still impressive wins over the Texans, Broncos, and Giants. And the Tennessee Titans with a very nice comeback win against the Minnesota Vikings. First of all, I just want to say, I hope this game gets petitioned to be Sunday Night Football. Obviously, the Eagles at 49ers game is Sunday Night Football Week 4, but who in the world wouldn't want to watch that game? Like, honestly, that game is going to be so bad. Let's have the two 3-0 teams, the only two 3-0 teams playing each other that week. Let's have them play Sunday Night Football. Like, that's probably the best game of the week, and it's probably the most important for both of these franchises. So before we get into the actual video, I just want to say thank you. We're at 1,100 subscribers, where we were at like 500 subs over a month ago, just over a little bit. So with that in consideration, please hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. So we have the Steelers at the Titans. Honestly, I thought this was going to be probably one of the best games of the season before the schedule came out, because I thought the Titans were really good at the end of the 2019 season, obviously in the AFC Championship game. And then the Steelers, I thought they were going to be really good with that star-studded defense, and with Big Ben back, the offense should be playing better. And look at that, just like that, both of those things are going to happen. So first of all, I just want to point out both of these teams' weaknesses and exactly how the other team should just, expose them for that weakness. So off the bat, the Titans, a decently good defensive team last season at the ends, has been ranked the 29th best defense in the NFL, and that is pretty bad considering there's only 32 teams. Obviously, they gave up 30 and 31 points to the Jaguars and the Vikings, something that, that's not good, because they shouldn't be giving that many points up. The offense has to score that many points to win, and they both won both those games just by the offense destroying. Immediately, I just got to point out the Steelers' offense, down 11 points against the Texans. It stepped up, and with the help of the defense, the offense went down the field, scored touchdowns, rushing the ball. James Conner had a nice game. Juju and Eric Ebron had touchdown catches, exactly what Steelers fans wanted to see. But unfortunately, Deontay Johnson was in concussion protocol after a pretty decently cheap shot. So it's questionable if he plays on Sunday, but if he does, that's a pretty good thing for Steelers fans to see, because with the help of Deontay, this offense is just explosive now. So with obviously one of the worst rushing defenses and passing defenses in the NFL, ranked 29th overall, I believe the Steelers are going to have a pretty decent day offensively. So with that being probably the Titans' most, obvious weakness of defensive lackness, like their defense is playing bad. They're allowing huge amounts of rushing yards against Dalvin Cook. They gave up huge plays to Justin Jefferson, and you just got to wonder why. But with that weakness in mind, we have to look at the Steelers' weakness. I think I already pointed out one of them, which is the absence of Deontay Johnson. I believe the offense is pretty good. I don't think it has any weak spots right now. But if Deontay Johnson's out, that could be troublesome, because he's a very, very, very good punt returner, and he makes explosive plays on the field, carrying this team in offensive passing yards. And it just leads more receivers to step, like tight end Eric Ebron, Juju, James Washington, Claypool, especially Claypool, with all the things that he did for the team week 3. I believe Claypool is going to have a good game if Deontay Johnson is out. Another weakness on the Steelers is, I don't even know how this is going to come out of my mouth. But obviously, with the best defense in the NFL, the Steelers' passing game has been playing pretty bad. I'm not saying it's playing bad, but it's playing like worse than it ever has been in 2019. One game against the Texans is almost worse than any other game they played in 2019, besides that Ravens game, which doesn't count. Obviously, with the defensive line, the best in the league, come on. Like, there's no debating that. There's so much, the Steelers blitz on more than 60% of the plays, It just leaves the field open for Deshaun Watson to throw it. He got down the field so many plays. It was just big give-ups for the Steelers defense. But it started, trying. It started actually trying, of course, in the second half. And I believe they only gave up one score to the Texans. So with that weakness in mind, we have to look at the Titans and how they're going to expose that, which obviously is obvious. They have a very decently well passing offense. Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith, Khalif Raymond, Adam Humphries all played very good against the Vikings, all getting over 40 receiving yards each, and Khalif Raymond getting 118 receiving yards. So with that in mind, it's kind of obvious. I expect the Titans to have a pretty decent day throwing the football against the Steelers defense, which played well in the second half, but has been giving up plays the entire year. Now, if one player, I believe this firmly, if one player on the Titans doesn't play good, then the team loses the game. And I bet you can name that guy. His name is Derrick Henry, which brings me to the Steelers' best strength, their defensive line, which has averaged 60 yards given up per game, allowed Saquon to rush for 6 yards week 1, gave up a decent amount to Melvin Gordon, not that much. But David Johnson, he was shut down the entire game. With Derrick Henry, the best running back in the league right now, averaging over 100 rushing yards per game, I believe he's not going to get close to 100 rushing yards. And that is going to be the downfall for the Titans offense. If Derrick Henry's not having a good game, which he's not going to have a good game because the line's too good, then this Titans offense might struggle. But that, like I said, it's just a perfect matchup for the passing game for the Titans to just expose the Steelers. I'm not saying the Steelers' passing game is bad, but I am saying that it's giving up unnecessary amount of yards compared to what it has been giving up last season. I think an interception, it was just a bad play, but that interception was caused by TJ Watt's pressure on Watson, which I expect to happen. With the Titans not giving up too many sacks a game, just like the Steelers, if the defensive line doesn't get to Ryan Tannehill, it could be a strength for this Titans offense. But if TJ Watt, Bud Dupree get to Ryan Tannehill, which will happen, and Derrick Henry stopped, then this Titans offense could be very limited and potentially just win the game right there for the Steelers. So basically those are the strengths for the Titans, passing and rushing, but the strength for the Steelers, obviously countering the rushing, which is definitely going to be a very crucial factor in this game. And the other strength for the Steelers, unexpectedly, is passing the ball. With the passing game being very decently well for the Steelers week 3, week 2, week 1, Big Ben is back and he's making plays. Every receiver on that offense, including the tight ends, contributed to that week 3 win over the Texans. And you got to wonder if that's going to happen again. With Juju, James, Washington, Eric Ebron, Vance McDonald, Chase Claypool, James Conner, the offense played very nice against the Texans. Potentially getting 35 points, but they kneeled on the 1 yard line with like a minute left. So it shows that this offense has potential. And the biggest weakness for the Titans is obviously, like I said before, their defense is just horrible right now. And if the Steelers expose that defense, it could be a high-scoring game. So the Titans are favored to win this game by 1.5 points, meaning that the Steelers are the better team. Since this game is in Tennessee, it just shows that the Steelers are the better team if they're only projected to win by 1 point. Home field advantage isn't even a factor anymore. The Packers destroyed the Saints because there's no home field advantage. We're going to see this the entire year until fans come back. But honestly, just because this game's in Tennessee, I don't see a disadvantage for the Steelers. So to win this game for both teams, let's start with the Titans. To win this game, they got to throw the ball very nicely, just like they have been. They got to expose the secondary, expose the middle of the field, and they got to be effective running. But I don't see that happening. The Titans also, they got to stop the offense for the Steelers, but I don't think that's going to happen either. For the Steelers to win this game, they got to stop Derrick Henry, which is going to happen. And honestly, one thing they need to do is stop the receivers from receiving the ball, especially Jonnu Smith, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Khalif Raymond, all threats for this offense. If they can stop those players, then this team is going to win this game. So, who I think is going to win this game? I bet you can guess. I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers to win by 7 points. Yeah, 7 points. I also believe that the Steelers play very well against the Titans no matter where it is. They've beaten the Titans so many games in a row. I don't even think they've lost like more than 2 times or 3 times to the Titans in NFL history. And I expect the Steelers with Big Ben to have a field day passing. And we're just going to see what happens. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Adios.